For decades, the dramatic split between Ivana and Donald Trump was one of the most talked about breakups in celebrity history. Their marriage embodied the glitz and extravagance of the 1980s, and its downfall was just as over the top, complete with tabloid scandals, betrayals, and fierce legal battles. Now, 35 years later, Ivana Trump has finally revealed the real reason she divorced Donald Trump. From a heated public clash in Aspen to a bitter courtroom showdown and even an FBI investigation, the truth behind their split is even more jaw-dropping than the headlines ever suggested. Buckle up. This is one story you don't want to miss. Ivana's journey from a young athlete in Czechoslovakia to a power player in New York's elite circles wasn't just about luck or charm. It was a combination of sharp instincts, adaptability, and the political climate of the Cold War era. Long before she met Donald Trump, she was making bold moves for her future. Marrying Alfred Winklmayr wasn't about love. It was a calculated decision to secure an Austrian passport, allowing her to leave communist Czechoslovakia without cutting ties with her family. By the time she made her way to Canada in the early 1970s, she was already a master at navigating new worlds. Montreal, with its European influence and bilingual culture, became her stepping stone. It gave her the perfect environment to polish her English and ease into a more open society. Her connection with Jiří Sirovatka, another Czech defector, put her in entrepreneurial circles before she ever set foot in New York's high-powered real estate scene. Even her modeling career, something many assumed was a glamorous calling, was just a means to an end for Ivana. She wasn't chasing fame. She was strategically positioning herself in North America. By the time she was involved in promotional campaigns for the 1976 Montreal Olympics, she had already laid the groundwork for something far bigger. Meeting Donald Trump that same year wasn't just fate. It was a pivotal moment that would change everything. But if anyone thought Ivana was just going to be a trophy wife, they were in for a surprise. Ivana wasn't just another immigrant chasing the American dream. She was a force of nature. Before she even arrived in New York, she had already carved out a name for herself in Canada, juggling a successful modeling career with an impressive business mindset that set her apart from the typical socialites of the time. She was ambitious, sharp, and relentless, determined to make an impact. When she met Donald Trump in 1976, their relationship wasn't just a love story. It was a collision of two powerhouse personalities, both hungry for success. Donald, an up-and-coming real estate developer, was eager to step out of his father Fred Trump's shadow and build his own empire in Manhattan. Ivana, with her European elegance and unstoppable drive, saw in him a partner whose ambition matched her own. Their 1977 wedding, officiated by Norman Vincent Peale, whose book The Power of Positive Thinking was practically Donald's personal Bible, was more than just a marriage. It was the birth of a brand, a power couple poised to take over New York's elite circles. But from day one, Ivana wasn't just a supporting act. She was Donald's equal, and in many ways his superior when it came to execution. She had a sharp strategic mind and an impeccable eye for design, making her an essential part of the Trump business. Unlike the typical society wives who spent their days at charity events and luxury boutiques, Ivana was in the trenches, playing a major role in some of the Trump organization's biggest projects. She helped shape the vision of Trump Tower, overseeing everything from its sleek interiors to its branding, ensuring it became a symbol of ultimate luxury. She was a key player in developing the Grand Hyatt, one of the early milestones of Donald's growing empire, and later took on a crucial leadership role in running the Trump Taj Mahal Casino in Atlantic City. Her influence went beyond the boardroom. She became the face of Trump's rise, bringing a touch of European sophistication and an ironclad work ethic that gave their empire a polished edge. When Donald acquired the Plaza Hotel, one of the most prestigious properties in New York, it wasn't just for show. He handed Ivana the reins not as a decorative figurehead but as its president, trusting her to turn it into something even grander. She threw herself into the role with the same unstoppable energy she brought to everything in her life, making history as the first woman to hold such a position at the legendary hotel. Under her leadership, the plaza wasn't just maintained, it was revitalized, reclaiming its place as one of Manhattan's crown jewels. Yet despite her many successes, trouble was brewing behind the scenes in her marriage to Donald. At first, Donald was drawn to Ivana's drive, He had married her not just for her beauty, but for her intelligence and ambition. But admiration soon curdled into resentment. Donald thrived on dominance, in both business and his personal life. And as Ivana carved out her own influence outside his shadow, tensions started rising. She had become more than just Mrs. Trump. She was a public figure in her own right. And for a man obsessed with control over his image and legacy, that was a problem. What started as a shared vision of success slowly turned into a power struggle. By the late 1980s, the cracks in their once golden empire were getting harder to ignore. Financially and personally, everything was under pressure. The stock market crash of 1987 sent shockwaves through Donald's empire, exposing just how over-leveraged his businesses were. Whispers of mounting debt and poor management spread through financial circles, casting doubt on the mogul's golden boy reputation. Meanwhile, Ivana's rising influence within the Trump organization only added fuel to the fire. Donald, who had once relied on her expertise, was now fighting to reassert himself as the undisputed leader of both the company and their marriage. And then, Aspen happened. It was the winter of 1989, and the Trump family had retreated to the snowy luxury of Aspen, Colorado, for what should have been a picture-perfect Christmas. Instead, it became the backdrop for one of the most talked-about scandals of the decade. For months, rumors had been swirling about Donald's affairs, but Ivana had largely dismissed them until that fateful trip. There, in the middle of their high society getaway, she found herself face-to-face with Marla Maples, the young Southern beauty queen who had become Donald's mistress. Eyewitnesses later described an unforgettable scene. Ivana, normally poised and in control, unleashing her fury in public. Marla, caught off guard and overwhelmed, reportedly blurted out, "I love him, and he loves me." It was the moment that shattered any remaining illusion that her marriage could be salvaged. Humiliated and betrayed, Ivana knew there was no going back. Ivana and Donald's divorce was more than just another celebrity breakup. It was a media sensation that defined an era of tabloid excess. For 11 days straight, the New York press covered the split obsessively, dissecting every sordid detail for an audience that couldn't get enough. A marriage that had once been a symbol of wealth, ambition, and power had become a public spectacle, complete with accusations of infidelity, legal battles over vast sums of money, and bitter personal disputes. Ivana's allegations against Donald, including claims of mistreatment during a heated argument, accusations she later walked back, only fueled the media frenzy. The tabloids had a field day, turning their divorce into must-read drama. By December 1990, the legal fight was over. The court granted Ivana a divorce on the grounds of cruel and inhumane treatment, marking the official end of their turbulent union. While the most sensitive details were locked away behind airtight legal agreements, enough had been exposed to the public to cement the divorce as one of the messiest in modern celebrity history. But Ivana wasn't about to walk away empty-handed. She had played a major role in shaping the Trump empire and wasn't going to be pushed aside without a fight. Her settlement reflected her influence: $14 million in cash, a sprawling 45-room mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut, an apartment in Trump Plaza, and a financial arrangement granting her limited access to Mar-a-Lago. However, her ability to speak openly about her life with Donald came at a cost. A strict non-disclosure agreement ensured she couldn't discuss certain aspects of their marriage without his approval, forever keeping some secrets under lock and key. As Ivana adjusted to life after Donald, her ex-husband was facing the biggest crisis of his career. Once celebrated as the ultimate real estate mogul, he was now drowning in debt, scrambling to save an empire that was beginning to crumble beneath him. The Trump empire, built on a tangled mess of high-risk investments, was dangerously close to collapsing. His Atlantic City casinos were bleeding money. The Taj Mahal casino was struggling to keep up with loan payments, and his heavily leveraged properties, like the Plaza Hotel, were hanging by a thread, with foreclosure looming. Banks that once eagerly backed his grand visions were now pulling back, questioning whether he could even stay afloat. His financial downfall was just as public as his divorce, with creditors closing in and reports swirling that he wasn't the billionaire he had always claimed to be. Suddenly, the once unshakable Trump brand was in serious trouble. But if there was one thing Ivana and Donald had in common, it was that neither of them was willing to let scandal or financial disaster define their future. Ivana wasted no time in reinventing herself. She smartly used her fame and reputation as a business-savvy socialite to her advantage, launching multiple ventures under her own name. From a fashion and beauty brand aimed at women who admired her glamorous lifestyle, to best-selling books like The Best Is Yet to Come, Coping with Divorce and Enjoying Life Again, she built an entirely new empire for herself. Meanwhile, Donald wasn't about to let his setbacks keep him down either. Through sheer determination and an unmatched ability to sell an image, he slowly clawed his way back. He struck deals with banks to restructure his crushing debts, used his name for lucrative licensing agreements, and, most importantly, discovered the power of television. The Apprentice transformed him into a reality TV icon, turning his public image from a struggling businessman into the ultimate symbol of success. His signature phrase, "You're fired," became a pop culture phenomenon, helping him rebuild his brand in ways that no real estate deal ever could. This rebranding effort eventually led him into politics, culminating in one of the most unexpected presidential victories in American history. Their marriage had ended in an explosion of scandal, but its legacy lasted for decades. Their three children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, grew up in the public eye, each carving out their own space in business and media, while remaining deeply tied to their father's ambitions. Despite everything that had happened between them, Ivana remained fiercely proud of the role she had played, not just in shaping her children, but even, in some ways, in shaping Donald himself. As the years passed, she spoke of him with a mix of admiration and exasperation, acknowledging his successes while making it clear that she had long since moved on. Even though their divorce is old news now, it was a defining moment in American pop culture, a symbol of the ambition, excess, and ruthless nature of the 1980s. But for both Ivana and Donald, it wasn't the end. They were both just getting started. Ivana Trump wasn't just a glamorous wife. She played a major role in the Trump Organization, holding top executive positions and overseeing some of its biggest projects. For 7 years, she was a senior executive, most notably serving as executive vice president for interior design. Her influence was obvious in Trump Tower, from its signature pink marble aesthetic to its over-the-top luxury. But her business instincts went beyond design. She took on major leadership roles, serving as CEO and president of the Trump Castle Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, where she ran operations with an iron grip. Later, she took charge of the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan, making history as the only woman at the time to serve as president of a major New York hotel. After her highly publicized divorce, Ivana wasted no time in building her own brand. She launched a series of business ventures that capitalized on her name and larger-than-life persona. She introduced clothing, jewelry, and beauty product lines, selling them through TV shopping networks like the Home Shopping Network and QVC London. By 1995, she had established the House of Ivana, a fashion and fragrance company with a prestigious showroom on Park Avenue in New York City. Her business ambitions didn't stop there. In 1998, she explored investment opportunities in Croatia, a country she had often visited with her parents, and made a major move by purchasing a 33% stake in Polo Plus 10, the second-largest daily newspaper in the country. However, not every venture was a success. In 2004, the Bentley Bay development in Miami, which bore her name, ended up filing for bankruptcy. Even with some setbacks, Ivana had proven time and again that she was more than just a former Mrs. Trump. She was a force to be reckoned with in her own right. A year later, she found herself involved in several high-profile condominium projects, including the ambitious but ultimately unrealized Ivana Las Vegas, a luxury residential tower that never made it past the planning stages. Her entrepreneurial ventures weren't without controversy, as legal battles followed her business dealings. In 2010, she took Finnish fashion company Ivana Helsinki to court for unauthorized use of her name, proving once again that she fiercely protected her brand. Beyond business, Ivana carved out a space for herself in the literary world, authoring books that spanned multiple genres, from fiction and self-help to memoirs. She made her debut as a novelist with For Love Alone in 1992, followed by Free to Love in 1993. In 1995, she shifted gears and wrote The Best Is Yet to Come, Coping with Divorce and Enjoying Life Again, a guide for women navigating the emotional and financial challenges of post-divorce life. Her writing career didn't stop there. She took her advice column Ask Ivana to Globe magazine, where from 1995 to 2010 she answered reader questions about love, relationships, and personal growth. She even launched her own lifestyle magazine, Ivana's Living in Style, in February 1999, and later contributed personal essays to Divorce magazine in 2001, sharing her first-hand experiences and wisdom on moving forward after a breakup. Ivana's most personal work came in 2017 when she released Raising Trump, a deeply introspective autobiography that detailed her childhood in Czechoslovakia, her marriage to Donald, and, most importantly, her experience raising their 3 children. The book gave readers an intimate look into her parenting philosophy and the values she instilled in Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, offering a rare glimpse behind the glamorous facade of the Trump family. During her marriage to Donald, the two were frequently in the public eye, making high-profile television appearances together. One of their most talked-about interviews aired on The Oprah Winfrey Show in April 1988, where they spoke about their luxurious lifestyle, their expanding business empire, and their dynamic as a power couple. Just a month later, they sat down for an interview on the BBC's Wogan, further solidifying their image as an unstoppable duo. However, after their explosive divorce, Ivana stepped into the spotlight on her own terms. No longer just Donald Trump's ex-wife, she used the media as a platform to tell her own story. In 1991, she gave a highly publicized interview with Barbara Walters on 20 by 20, where she candidly discussed her marriage and divorce. The interview didn't just make headlines, it enraged Donald, who responded by cutting off her alimony payments and threatening legal action to demand financial compensation. But Ivana wasn't one to back down. She returned to the Oprah Winfrey Show in 1992, delivering a statement that struck a chord with women everywhere. "I will not let men dominate me anymore." Her influence in pop culture extended far beyond talk shows. In 1996, she made a now iconic cameo in the Hollywood film The First Wives Club, playing herself in a scene that resonated deeply with women who had been through difficult breakups. In the movie, she confidently declared, "Ladies, you have to be strong and independent. And remember, don't get mad, get everything." The line became legendary, a playful but powerful reference to her own divorce and the importance of female empowerment. Not content with just scripted appearances, Ivana dabbled in reality television as well. In 2006, she took on the role of television host with Ivana Young Man, a reality dating special on the Oxygen network. The show had a fun and lighthearted premise, helping a wealthy, middle-aged woman find a younger romantic partner. It was a clear departure from her usual television appearances and highlighted her sense of humor and playful personality. She stepped back into the reality TV world again in 2010 when she joined the UK's Celebrity Big Brother 7. Competing alongside an eclectic mix of contestants, Ivana held her own and made it all the way to 7th place, proving once again that she could thrive in any environment. Never one to fade into the background, Ivana embraced life after Donald with the same bold determination that had defined her career and social presence. She wasn't just moving on, she was moving up. In November 1995, she walked down the aisle once again, this time with Riccardo Mazzucchelli, a wealthy Italian businessman whose world of high society and international luxury was just as fast-paced as hers. It was a new chapter, but Ivana was still very much the woman the world had come to admire. Fiercely independent, endlessly ambitious, and always ready for the next adventure. Their union seemed like a match of equals, both successful, ambitious, and accustomed to a life of luxury. But despite their seemingly perfect pairing, the marriage was short-lived. Less than 2 years after saying "I do," Ivana and Riccardo Mazzucchelli called it quits, finalizing their divorce in 1997. What followed was not just a breakup, but a legal spectacle that played out in the media. Ivana sued Mazzucchelli for $15 million, claiming he had broken the confidentiality clause in their prenuptial agreement. Not one to take accusations lightly, Mazzucchelli fought back with a libel lawsuit in a British court, targeting both Ivana and her ex-husband, Donald Trump. Though the exact details of their courtroom drama never became public knowledge, the case was ultimately settled behind closed doors. But heartbreak was never something Ivana dwelled on for long. That very same year, she found herself in the arms of another distinguished figure, Count Goffredo Gaetani dell'Aquila d'Aragona Lovatelli. An Italian aristocrat with an ancient lineage and a passion for high-end automobiles, Gaetani was the epitome of old-world charm. Their romance lasted nearly a decade, filled with glamorous social events, lavish European vacations, and an effortless blend of aristocracy and celebrity. For Ivana, this relationship wasn't just about love. It was a return to the refined European world she had always admired. Their bond endured despite their busy, jet-setting lifestyles. But in 2005, tragedy struck when Gaetani passed away unexpectedly. It was a devastating loss, but Ivana, true to form, picked herself up and carried on. A few years later, she found love once more, this time with Italian actor and model Rossano Rubaconde. Their whirlwind romance spanned 6 years before they decided to take the plunge, marrying in an extravagant ceremony on April 12, 2008. At 59, Ivana was 23 years older than her 36-year-old groom, but their age difference was no obstacle to their grand celebration. The wedding was nothing short of spectacular. Hosted at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida, the $3 million affair drew 400 high-profile guests, including celebrities and business moguls. Ivanka Trump took on a special role as her mother's maid of honor, while Donald Trump's sister, Judge Marianne Trump Barry, officiated the ceremony, making it an unusual but undeniably memorable family affair. Despite the glamour of their wedding, the marriage itself was fleeting. Less than a year later, Ivana and Rubaconde divorced, but their relationship remained complicated. Their on-again, off-again dynamic lasted over a decade, with the couple frequently spotted together at social gatherings, luxurious getaways, and high-profile events. It wasn't until 2019 that Ivana finally confirmed that their romance had officially ended for good. Yet, even after their separation, an unbreakable bond remained between them. In a heartbreaking turn of events, Rubaconde passed away in October 2021 at just 49 years old, marking the end of yet another chapter in Ivana's eventful love life. Beyond her high-profile relationships, Ivana's later years were devoted to family, travel, and enjoying the fruits of her hard work. She took immense pride in her 3 children, watching as they built their own successes, and she embraced her role as a grandmother to 10 grandchildren. Just as she had once juggled business and motherhood with effortless poise, she now balanced her time between family life and the luxuries she had earned. Whether in her glamorous New York City townhouse, sunbathing in Miami, or indulging in the opulence of Saint-Tropez, she never strayed far from the high society she had so carefully cultivated. A woman of true European refinement, Ivana remained a polyglot, effortlessly switching between Czech, English, German, French, and Russian. Even in her later years, she was never far from the public eye. Whether making an appearance at a charity gala, dining at an exclusive restaurant, or simply being photographed on the streets of Manhattan, she continued to captivate. She lived life on her own terms, bold, elegant, and unapologetically herself. Until the very end, she remained the ultimate embodiment of resilience, sophistication, and glamour. She was, and always would be, unforgettable. On July 14, 2022, Ivana Trump passed away at the age of 73, marking the end of a life filled with resilience, reinvention, and opulence. Her death was ruled as the result of blunt impact injuries to the torso after she fell down the stairs in her Upper East Side townhouse in Manhattan. The shocking nature of the accident left many in disbelief, as Ivana had long been known for her strength, vitality, and unwavering presence. Though she had stepped away from the spotlight in her later years, news of her passing led to an outpouring of tributes from those who knew her best. Her ex-husband, Donald Trump, who by then had served as the 45th President of the United States, took to social media to share his grief, calling her a wonderful, beautiful, and amazing woman who led a great and inspirational life. Their three children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, also honored their mother, remembering her as a fierce businesswoman, a devoted parent, and a trailblazer who shaped their lives in immeasurable ways. But the tributes extended far beyond her family. Politicians, celebrities, and icons from the business and fashion worlds paid their respects, reflecting on her impact as a self-made woman who carved her own path. On July 20th, 2022, 6 days after her passing, a funeral service was held in her honor at the Church of St. Vincent Ferrer, a Catholic church near her Manhattan residence. The ceremony was a solemn yet elegant affair, attended by family, close friends, and prominent figures, all gathered to bid farewell to a woman who had left an undeniable mark on the world. After the service, Ivana was laid to rest at the Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey, a location of deep significance to the Trump family. For them, it was not just a burial site, but a way to keep her memory close to their shared history. Ivana's estate, valued at approximately $34 million, reflected the wealth she had built over decades of ambition and hard work. In her will, she ensured that the majority of her fortune would be passed on to her three children, the ones she had always prioritized. However, she also made notable provisions for two individuals outside the immediate Trump family: her dear friend Evelyn Gillette and Dorothy Curry, the longtime nanny who had played a crucial role in raising her children. These gestures showcased Ivana's loyalty to those who had stood by her side through the years. Her passing marked the end of an era for a woman who had not only been instrumental in building the Trump brand, but had also helped redefine what it meant to be a glamorous, self-made woman in the public eye. Her life was one of ambition, reinvention, and an unrelenting drive for success. Even in death, her legacy remained undeniable. But what truly caused the end of her marriage to Donald Trump? Was it simply his affair, or was there more to the story? The real reason behind their split was a combination of many things, but the breaking point came with Donald's highly publicized affair with actress and model Marla Maples. Ivana, who had been deeply involved in the Trump organization and had played a key role in making Trump Tower a success, started noticing cracks in her marriage by the late 1980s. Rumors of Donald's infidelity began to circulate, and whispers about his relationship with Maples became impossible to ignore. Everything came to a head in December 1989 during a now infamous confrontation in Aspen, Colorado. Ivana and Donald were on vacation with their children when she had a face-to-face encounter with Maples. According to reports, Maples boldly told Ivana, "I love him, and he loves me." The humiliating moment played out in front of onlookers, marking the beginning of the end for Ivana's marriage. Though the couple remained together for a short time after the Aspen incident, the damage was irreversible. The public nature of the betrayal, combined with the growing strain between them, led Ivana to file for divorce. In the years that followed, she spoke candidly about the pain of the experience, reflecting on how difficult it was to endure such a personal heartbreak under the relentless scrutiny of the media. But if there was one thing Ivana Trump had always been known for, it was resilience. She refused to let her divorce define her. Instead, she built her own empire, turned herself into a powerful brand, and continued living life on her own terms. Always glamorous, always strong, and forever unforgettable. While she carried herself with dignity, Ivana never shied away from making it clear that Donald's infidelity had been the final straw. In her 2017 memoir, Raising Trump, she candidly addressed the painful dissolution of their marriage, admitting that while she had forgiven him over the years, the betrayal had left a lasting scar. But beyond the emotional devastation, there was another layer of complexity to their divorce, one that had nothing to do with their personal relationship and everything to do with international intrigue. In the early 1990s, Ivana found herself entangled in an FBI investigation over alleged ties to Czechoslovak intelligence services. Having been born and raised in what was then Czechoslovakia, she had maintained certain connections to her homeland, which led to speculation and scrutiny from U.S. authorities. The probe, though never resulting in any concrete findings, added an unexpected and stressful dimension to an already crumbling marriage. Despite their differences, Donald stood by her, dismissing the allegations as baseless and politically motivated. However, even his public defense of Ivana wasn't enough to mend their fractured relationship. The damage had been done, and by 1992, their divorce was finalized, officially marking the end of one of the most high-profile marriages of the era. Donald wasted no time moving on. Almost immediately after his split from Ivana, he went public with Marla Maples, the woman at the center of the scandal that had destroyed his first marriage. Their once secret affair became official, and in 1993 the two tied the knot in a lavish ceremony at the Plaza Hotel. However, their relationship was doomed from the start. While the initial thrill of the affair had been intoxicating, the reality of marriage proved far more complicated. The couple struggled with compatibility issues, and rumors of infidelity and discord plagued their union from early on. One of the most salacious allegations that surfaced during their troubled marriage was the claim that Maples had engaged in an affair with one of Trump's bodyguards. Though never officially confirmed, the rumors put an even greater strain on their already fragile relationship. By 1999, the marriage had reached its breaking point, leading to yet another high-profile divorce. Unlike Ivana, who had walked away with a substantial settlement, Maples received a much smaller payout due to the stringent terms of her prenuptial agreement. It didn't take long for Trump to find a new romantic partner. In 1998, he met Slovenian model Melania Knauss, beginning a relationship that, while seemingly more stable than his previous ones, was not without its own set of challenges. Initially, Melania was hesitant about Donald's advances, but eventually, she embraced the role of his long-term partner. In 2005, they married in an extravagant ceremony, with Melania donning a Dior wedding gown rumored to have cost over $100,000. However, even within this seemingly polished marriage, Trump's name continued to be linked to various women. Perhaps the most explosive scandal came in 2018, when it was revealed that Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen, had facilitated a $130,000 payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. The payment was allegedly made in exchange for Daniels' silence regarding an affair she claimed to have had with Trump in 2006, just a year after he had married Melania. The revelation sent shockwaves through both the political and media worlds, igniting a legal and public relations firestorm. Melania, while maintaining her usual composed demeanor, was visibly distant from Donald in the aftermath of the scandal. Public appearances were noticeably strained, and speculation about the true state of their marriage ran rampant. Meanwhile, Ivana had long since moved on from the chaos of Donald's personal life. By the time these later scandals unfolded, she often spoke of her ex-husband with a mix of amusement and nostalgia. She frequently referred to herself as the real Mrs. Trump, a playful yet pointed reminder of her place in his history. Though their marriage had ended in betrayal and bitterness, time had softened the edges of their relationship. For the sake of their children, they had found a way to coexist, ultimately reaching a level of mutual understanding. Yet, if Ivana's life had been a testament to resilience and reinvention, Donald's romantic history was a reminder that scandal and controversy would always follow him. His relationships, no matter how grand or carefully curated, had a way of becoming public spectacles. And while Ivana had long since stepped away from the Trump drama, the turbulence that had once defined their marriage continued to play out in his life, proving that for better or worse, Donald Trump's love life would always be a subject of public fascination.